Hello everyone, Nick the DM here, back with more March of the Modrons. In today's video, we're taking a look at the Quarton and the Tertian, the 4th and 3rd ranked in Modron Society, and we're going to take a look at some of the stats I made for them for 5th edition. So let's get into it. Quarton. Quartons are the 4th highest ranking in all of Modron Society. 16 Quartons can exist at one time within the Modron hierarchy. A Quarton is a 12-foot tall humanoid with 4 jointed arms and 2 legs. A pair of large fan-like wings sprouts from its back. They take orders from the Tertians and relay them to the Quintons. Each Quarton administers one of the 16 sectors of the Modron realm. It oversees the operation of the bureau, governors, and army attached to its region. Each Quarton has a personal staff consisting of the Quinton and all the lower-ranking hierarchs assigned to its region, plus 36 pentadrones that act as its personal guard. Now let's check out the 5th edition stats I made for the Quarton. Quarton, large construct, lawful neutral, has an armor class of 18, 262 hit points or 25d10 plus 125, and a movement speed of 30 feet but a fly speed of 90 feet, so it makes it easy to survey the surrounding areas and move quickly. For stats, it has a 21 strength, 18 dexterity, 21 constitution, 21 intelligence, 22 wisdom, and 22 charisma. Saving throws, it has proficiencies in dexterity, constitution, and wisdom. For skills, it only has proficiency in perception. Has true sight out to a range of 120 feet with a passive perception of 21. For languages, it can speak Abyssal, Orin, Celestial, Common, which is the trade tongue of the plains and can be swapped out for whatever the main outer plains most common language would be in your setting, Infernal, and Modron, and also has a telepathy out to a range of 384 miles, making it really easy for this thing to get information on the area that it rules over. The Quarton has a challenge rating of 15. Now for its abilities. It has Axiomatic Mind, as the other Modrons do, where the Quarton can't be compelled to act in a manner contrary to its nature or instructions. And it has Disintegration, as the other Modrons do as well. If the Quarton dies, its body disintegrates into dust, leaving behind its weapons and anything else it was carrying. The only other ability it has is innate spellcasting. The Quarton's innate spellcasting is charisma based, DC 19 and plus 11 to hit with spell attacks, and it can cast the following spells: Clairvoyance and Command at will, and 3 times per day each, Dimension Door and Wall of Force. The Quarton has a multi-attack where it can make 4 slam attacks. Each slam attack is a plus 10 to hit, reach of 10 feet, and it does 23 or 48 plus 5 bludgeoning damage. So the higher we go in these Modrons, the less attacks they have, but each attack deals a lot more damage. Alternatively, I didn't mention this in other videos, but I was thinking about it as I was looking over my stats. You could potentially give certain higher ranking Modrons legendary resistances, considering there are very few of them in the actual realm of the universe. So they're very special creatures. They might be considered legendary, so legendary resistances might be a possibility, because if you're thinking dragons, there are a lot more dragons than there are Quartons, especially specifically adult red dragons. There's a lot more adult red dragons than there are Quartons just in the general Forgotten Realms setting. So it would make sense if you gave them some legendary resistance. Maybe some of the lower ranking hierarchs have 1 legendary resistance that goes up to 2, and then the Secundus and that has 3, but that's all optional. I just chose not to add that in. You can do whatever you want with your campaign. Optionally, as I mentioned with the other hierarchs, the Quarton can possess the same cleric spells that a 20th level cleric would have. So if a 20th level cleric has access to just their entire spell list and they have 9th level spell slots and whatnot, a Quarton could optionally have this as the energy funnels from Primus down the hierarchy line. Now let's take a look at the Tertian. Tertians are the 3rd highest ranking of all Modrons. There are only 9 Tertians in existence at one time. A Tertian looks like a 12-foot tall human with horns jutting from the sides of its bald head. As a 3rd, quote, arm, unquote, it has a long prehensile tail that ends in a mace-like ball. They accept orders from the Secundi, to whom they all report, and relay them to the Quartons. Trial, judgment, and sentencing of all creatures in the Modron realm is the province of the 9 Tertians, who hear all cases involving crimes against the rigid orthodoxy of Regulus. Rogue Modron trials make up the bulk of their caseload. For more on Rogue Modrons, I made a few videos on those, actually, with the Rogue Modrons, the Rogue March, and just the base Modrons and such. To the bulk of the Modron population, the Tertians are alien and unfamiliar creatures, the ultimate impartial judges. A duodrone accused of a crime might possibly imagine, if it can imagine at all, the Tertian to be some sort of incomprehensible manifestation of supreme logic, a super tridrone, so to speak. The Tertians have a total of 3 armies at their disposal to use in law enforcement. In addition, these hierarchs supervise the Quartons, and 2 Tertians directly serve each of the 4 Secundi. Now let's take a look at the stats I made for the 5th edition Tertian. Tertian, large construct, lawful neutral. Has an armor class of 18, which is natural armor, has 276 hit points or 24 d10 plus 144, and a on-foot movement speed of 30 feet. For ability scores, it has a strength of 23, dexterity of 19, constitution of 22, intelligence of 22, wisdom of 24, and charisma of 24 as well. Proficiencies in saving throws, it has proficiency in dexterity, constitution, and wisdom. It has proficiency in perception. For senses, it has 120 feet of true sight and a passive perception of 22. Languages, it can speak Abyssal, Auran, Celestial, Common, or the trade tongue of the plains, again, interchangeable, Infernal, Modron, and a telepathy out to 405 miles. The Tertian has a challenge rating of 16. This, again, I've mentioned this a few times before, but I want to keep mentioning this. I kept the challenge rating identical to their advanced D&D and 3rd edition stats, so I just wanted to keep it consistent there, even though the base Modrons are a lot lower. I just felt the Hierarchs deserved to have such a place of high authority. Abilities, just like the Quarton, Axiomatic Mind, and Disintegration, so I won't explain those again. And innate spellcasting, charisma-based, save DC of 20, plus 12 to hit with spell attacks, and it can innately cast the following spells, requiring no material components, at will, clairvoyance, and command, and 3 times per day each, Dimension Door and Wall of Force. So you'll notice that some of these, like even the lower Hierarchs, might have more access to spells, but generally, like consistently, it stays at everyone has like clairvoyance, command, and Dimension Door and Wall of Force in some general like amount. The Decaton had like Wall of Force once per day. But this is just because there is some consistency throughout the hierarchy of the Modrons. Now, if you do the optional feature to them cleric spells, which Tertians have the access to cleric spells as a 20th level cleric would, then they might possess slightly different spells, but generally there is a consistency. They're not going to have all a bunch of random different spells, because that's not how the Modrons work. For its attacks, it has a multi-attack where it makes 3 attacks, 2 with its slam and 1 with its tail. Its slam attack is a plus 11 hit, reach of 10 feet, and does 24 or 48 plus 6 bludgeoning damage. Its tail, on the other hand, is a plus 10 or plus 11 to hit, reach of 10 feet, and does 3d10 plus 6 bludgeoning damage, or 22, but the target must then make a DC 19 Constitution saving throw or be stunned for 1d4 rounds. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Now, of course, in earlier editions, stun time was a lot greater, but I did compare this to dragons with like paralyzing breath and that, and based on just the CR of the Tertian, the amount of average damage it deals, and how long like a normal paralyzing breath weapon would last, which is a minute, 1d4 and repeating saving throws doesn't seem too bad, so that's what I gave it. And as I mentioned earlier, the optional cleric level is 20th level for cleric spells. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video on the Modrons. If you like this video, please leave it a like and subscribe for more videos like this. At the start of April, I am taking a small break from YouTube just for a little bit. I'm moving and such, so getting settled in, and then I'll get back into my regular flow of things. Anyways, thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!